Hi, I'm Kim Rathbone with Rathbone Group, and I'm here at the National Association of Subrogation Professionals Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. Joining me today is Lee Mendelson of Mendelson Mediation.
Thank you, Kim. It's good to see you and good to be on subrogation here. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's here to talk to us about what it's like to be a mediator in the Subro world. So what got you into mediation?
Well, I'll tell you. I had my own law practice for 20 years. I've been in the subrogation world for 27 years, and I have been in a lot of mediations. I would find myself in these mediations a lot of times, a lot of the multi-party larger mediations, where I would be talking to the mediator and saying, hey, maybe you ought to talk to this defendant about this issue and mention this amount of money. I found myself directing things from that point of view. And the more I got into it, I realized, hey, I think that would be something that I would like to do. Mm-hmm. So as of last year, I was fortunate enough, I had a rather nice sized law practice in California, 20 attorneys, paralegals, and staff. And I was lucky enough to be able to sell that law practice so that I could focus on mediation, which is what I've been doing for about a year now. So I'm loving it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you get special training for the mediation practice?
I did get special training. So I went at the end of last year, at the end of 2023, I went through the Harvard University negotiation mediation program, and I got their certificate. And then I more recently went to Pepperdine University, which is in Malibu, California, and I went through their mediation program and got their certificate, and it was phenomenal. I learned so much and was able to work with so many great mediators. It's just been a tremendous experience.
It sounds like a wonderful experience.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, so are there different types of mediations?
There are different types of mediations, and I'll give you an example. There's two types of mediations that we should probably focus on: facilitative versus evaluative mediation. And a facilitative mediation is mostly on community-based mediations, like something in small claims court where the mediator is taking a number from one party, oh, this party offered $500, and running it over to this party and saying, hey, they offered $500, can you offer $650? Back and forth. And it's almost like the dog that has the note that he runs back and forth. It's kind of that sort of a thing. Then there's also evaluative mediation, which is the type of mediation that I mostly do. And people hire me as a mediator because I have an expertise in the subrogation world, in the personal injury world, in the products liability world. I've worked those cases for a very long time. So I have some wherewithal to tell an attorney, hey, you might want to look at this in your case. Or if they make an offer, I can nudge them in the right direction. When we get to the end of the mediation, I can push for this or that. Listen, at the end of the day, it is the party that is going to settle the case. I'm just there to empower the party. I look at myself as a service to empower a party to settle a mediation. And to do that, I have to be able to evaluate the case and be able to see what we're looking at in order to have the right things to talk about.
I imagine you see things that not a normal mediator without all the experience just won't necessarily see in the case.
I see things in a case that other folks that haven't handled these types of cases might not see. Like I always use the example, like if somebody came to me as an attorney and asked me about their will or trust, I would always say to them, hey, you're asking the plumber to fix the roof. I was like, I work on houses, but I'm the plumber and you're asking me to fix the roof. And it's the same thing for mediation. If you hire a mediator that doesn't have expertise in that area, you're looking at somebody that may not be able to help you really push to get the best result for both parties. And when I look at a case, my client nowadays is not party A or party B. My client is the agreement. My client is the settlement. That's who I want to see succeed. And so I'm working with the folks to reach that settlement.
Do you use different techniques? Like, what about mediators offers?
Yes, I do sometimes. Those are the types of things that I don't use until we get to the very end of the mediation. If we get to the mediation and we're rolling toward the end and there's going to be an impasse, there's two things that I use sometimes. Brackets, which I don't really like as much right now, but I wonder if I'll change, where I say, hey, let's try to bracket it. If it were between 100,000 and 150,000, would that work? Can we do that as your bracket? And then we try to work the bracket till it gets to the middle. Another thing that I do a lot, the thing that I do more, are a mediation offer. We're basically, and I don't do there's some mediators that will write out a full mediation proposal, like a mediator's proposal. This is what I propose, what the result is. I don't do that as much as I'll go in and talk to each party and make the proposal. For example, I'll say to the plaintiff, hey, what if I were able to get them to offer you $350,000? Would that be something you'd be willing to take? And then I go to the other side and say, hey, I think they would probably be willing to take $350,000. If, as I see it, if that's kind of the number that I think the parties would feel comfortable with, and if in my experience that makes sense to resolve for that amount.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way we do it.
I'm sure you're very successful.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. You found your thing.
I love it. I have to say, I truly love it.
That's great.
It's so much fun doing these mediations, and I love talking. You've known me for a long time. I love talking to people. And I feel like my skill set, I have 3 daughters. And so I've learned over the years how to bring the temperature down. And so I think that helps me very much professionally as well.
I love it.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, thank you. It is great to see you so happy. As you said, we've known you for so long, and it's so good to see that you're in a good place. So congratulations on the practice.
Thanks so much, Kim, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, so I'm with Lee Mendelson of Mendelson Mediation, and that's the long and short of it.